minutes early this Tuesday morning, the 11th of September, 2001.
Al, it is such a pretty morning, isn't it?
Perfect fall morning.
On September 11th, 2001, the world changed. The land of the free has now become the land of the enslaved. The people of our once glorious United States have traded their liberty for security. But has it all happened by design?
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
Many questions linger about the events of that day of infamy. But one thing we know for certain, the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor set in motion a course of events that would eventually lead us to a one-world government.
Japan began this war in treachery. We shall end it in victory.
In the aftermath of World War II, the United Nations was created, and the path toward a one-world government accelerated. Each war brings us one step closer to what the Bible calls the end of the world. Checkpoints are being set up everywhere. The police state is tightening its grip on the people of the United States. And to those who understand biblical prophecy, what comes next will not be a surprise. At some time in the future, the King James Bible states that everyone on the planet will be required to take a mark in order to buy or sell. As our current economic system collapses and as technology expands, cash is becoming a thing of the past. The reality of a cashless society is not far off. In fact, it's already being implemented. Despite denials by many religious leaders, evil men are working around the clock to bring in a new world order. We can see the end rapidly approaching and the stage being set for the emergence of the Antichrist. We can hear the voices of those who are subverting our U.S. Constitution and promoting this global government system.
A new world order.
In medical news tonight, a chip the size of a grain of rice could save your life.
The year is 2017. You're rushed to a hospital unconscious with no ID or medical history, but thanks to a microchip under your skin, it's all there. Science fiction 20 years ago, but a biometric reality today.
I think it is possible to free us completely of our wallets and keys using biometric technology, if that's what people want in 10 years' time.
The challenge is to safeguard our privacy in a brave new world.
New microchip technology now makes it possible for the emergency room staff to find out about your medical history at the touch of a computer key.
So many emergency physicians have to operate blind. We have to make medical decisions not knowing what medicines you take or what allergies you have.
Harvard Dr. John Halopka says this radio frequency identification chip may solve that problem. He had it implanted in his right upper arm. A scanner reads an identification number. Those 16 digits are then entered into a secure website where his medical history is stored. EMT worker Brian Orsatti says the chip could help emergency workers.
One of the big things is if you ever have some type of trauma patient where they come in and they're unable to give you their information and or their medical history.
Dr. Halopka says the benefits are clear.
I'm a rock climber, and I believe that if I fall off a cliff and you find me unconscious, the comfort of being able to scan me and figure out who I am outweighs my concern for privacy.
The chip is encased in unbreakable glass and is about the size of a grain of rice. The procedure is done with anesthesia and is relatively pain-free.
It's like putting a knitting needle under your skin.
But in this case, he says getting something under your skin is a good thing.
It starts like this. Here's his cat. 5 years later, we found out she's back. Then somebody says, well, you know, if it's good enough for a cat, Suki, I've got mom and dad at home, and dad kind of wanders off sometimes, and maybe we could put in a microchip with his medical records in case something ever happens. Sounds good. And then somebody says, well, if it's good enough for my cat, good enough for grandma and grandpa, what about my baby? No more Amber Alerts. Never having to worry about that fear of an abducted child. And then we say, well, you know what? Maybe we should have them. And on that chip, we're going to have everything. Credit cards, driver's license. Think about it, Metro card.
I'm thinking.
No more wallets. Think about this. You don't carry keys anymore. So the question I want everybody at home to ask is that a good idea? Because that's where we're going next.
It's too sci-fi for me, I'm telling you that.
It's here.
Much. I know it's here with pets and in a limited basis, but for humans
but your
and
child.
Your child. I mean, come on.
So they're not going to be able to buy or sell. And they're going to have a death warrant on them. Now imagine yourself right now in a world, and I didn't say in a nation, I didn't say in a country, I said in a world where you can't buy or sell and where there's a warrant out for you to be put to death. Can you imagine how difficult it would be to survive in a world like that? Not only that, what about all the surveillance cameras that are going in? What about the license plate reading cameras? What about the naked body scanners? What about the showing your ID at checkpoints? Showing your ID to get on a train? Showing your ID to get on an airplane? And you know what? Pretty soon you're going to have to show something else. Okay, let's see your right hand.
On the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. So they worshipped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If anyone has an ear, let him hear.